Are you just drowning in requests? You know the feeling. It's like this chaotic storm where every single task, every feature, every idea is stamped with urgent in big red letters. And oh yeah, the deadline? That was yesterday, right? The pressure is just immense. The clock's ticking, and your team, they're completely stuck. They're just arguing in circles about what to even do next. It's total paralysis. But what if you could just cut through all that noise? Imagine having a simple, almost non-negotiable framework that guarantees you actually ship what matters, on time, every single time. Well, that framework has a name. It's called the MoSCoW analysis. And believe me, it is a shockingly powerful way to bring some ruthless clarity and focus to your project's priorities. The whole idea behind it is so direct, it's brilliant. It's this: stop the endless debates about what's important and just start shipping what is absolutely essential. It's all about building momentum. And you gotta admit, it's a great name, right? It sounds very official. It was actually developed way back in 1994 by a guy named Dai Clegg over at Oracle. And yeah, while it might sound like something out of a spy movie, it is just as good at cutting through the chaos and, getting the mission done. Okay, so here's the most crucial thing to understand. MoSCoW, it's not really about making lists. Fundamentally, it's a communication tool. Its number one job is to get everyone, your team, your boss, your clients, on the exact same page. It's about creating a shared reality. And when you do that, you free up so much mental energy for your team to actually do the work. So how does this actually work? Well, I want you to picture your project as a building. You're constructing it from the ground up. MoSCoW gives you 4 super clear categories. Think of them as 4 pillars of priority to classify every single thing you need to do. All right, first up is the M. This stands for must have. These are the absolute, rock-solid, non-negotiable requirements. Let me be clear. If you don't deliver these, you haven't delivered anything. The project is a failure. End of story. So in our building metaphor, a must-have is a foundational pillar. It holds everything up. And the test for it is brutally simple. Just ask yourself, what happens if we don't deliver this? If the answer is, well, the whole building collapses, then you know it's a must. It's like a car. It must have an engine. No engine, no car. Period. Okay, next up we've got S for should have. Now, these are really important, high priority things that add a ton of value, but, and this is the key distinction, they're not vital for the thing to actually work in this release. Back to our building. Should-haves are like the main support beams. If you yank one out, yeah, the building's still standing, but it's definitely straining, you're going to need some kind of temporary workaround. So the test is there another way to handle this for now? If the answer is yes, it's a should-have. Think about air conditioning in a car. You can absolutely still drive without it, but it's going to be a much less pleasant ride. After that comes C for could-have. And these are exactly what they sound like. The nice-to-haves. They're the cherries on top. They're cool, they improve the experience, but if you have to leave them out of this version, the impact is pretty small. So for our building, the could-haves are the decorative trim. They make it look good, they add some flair, but let's be honest, they are the very first things you throw overboard when you're in a time crunch. A parking camera in a car is a perfect example. Super useful for sure, but totally not essential for the car to actually get you from A to B. And finally, we have W for won't have. Now listen up, because this category is the secret weapon for any great project manager. This is not a trash can for bad ideas. It is a tool for being crystal clear and transparent about what is out of scope for right now. The metaphor here is perfect. It's a future release container. You are literally taking these big ideas, like self-driving capability for our car, and you are actively putting them in a box for later. This is how you manage expectations and kill scope creep before it starts. You're not saying no, you're saying not yet. And that kind of clarity, it's a gift to your team. Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds great, right? But how do you actually do this with your team? How do you get everyone on board? Let's walk through the playbook. It's a pretty straightforward 6-step process. First, just list everything. Get it all out on the table. Then, and this is important, you talk to your stakeholders to figure out the real business value of each thing. After that, you all categorize the items together. Next, you have to look for dependencies, because sometimes a could-have actually needs a must-have to be done first. Then you validate it all to make sure everyone agrees. And the last step is critical. You have to revisit this list all the time. Priorities change. This is a living, breathing document, not something you set in stone. Okay, so as powerful as this all sounds, it's not a magic wand. It's not a silver bullet. So let's do a quick reality check and talk about the common traps people fall into so you can avoid them.
So on the plus side, it's dead simple to understand and it's amazing for getting teams aligned. But here's the big danger. If you don't have clear criteria, the whole thing can just turn into a shouting match based on opinions. And the biggest risk of all, that's when every stakeholder starts claiming their pet feature is a must-have because they're afraid it'll get cut. And boom, the whole system breaks down.
So, how do you prevent that from happening? Here is the single best pro tip for making MoSCoW work in the real world. You have to budget your effort. A great rule of thumb is this: commit no more than 60% of your total resources to must-haves. Why? Because that forces everyone to make tough choices. But more importantly, it leaves you with a 40% buffer of shoulds and coulds. And that buffer, that's your secret weapon for dealing with all the surprises that you know are going to pop up.
So when you put it all together, what do you really get? MoSCoW is way more than just a fancy to-do list. It's a shared language, a framework that gives your entire team laser-like focus.
Look, if you remember just 3 things from all this, make it these. Number 1, prioritize ruthlessly. Focus on delivering what is absolutely critical first. 2, align your stakeholders. Get everyone in the same boat, rowing in the same direction. And 3, use that won't have category like a shield. Use it to protect your scope, your timeline, and maybe most importantly, your team's sanity.
And that brings us to one final, very simple question for you. I want you to forget the endless list. Forget all the noise, forget the distractions for just a second. What is the one single must-have that you and your team can focus on and actually ship next?